world of YouTube, world of Terrorful Sight. And I was asked to do this video on Andrew Gosden, a young lad from England, UK. And wow, this story is friggin' mind-blowing. And I'm thankful for the subscriber who has sent me this. Sorry I forget your name. I've been friggin', mine's been not working right lately because of the BS that I've been going through. But I said I'd do this. Any more you got, bring them on in. Anybody from the UK got something? I mean, I have been doing videos on missing people. And go figure, this one did not come up. And I looked through a lot of them, mind you. I believe I looked through 15 missing cases, then 20 missing cases, and this kid was not one of them. And I am glad that the person sent this because, man, this is bizarre. And once again, it leads to poor investigations. Because not only did the police have opportunities to look into CCTV videos at the time of places, of a couple places, restaurants he went to, they didn't look at them. Some other stuff, eyewitnesses said they seen this kid traveling through friggin' London. Never looked into anything to confirm that. Now what has really got me is the story itself. And wow, a 14-year-old kid, high in honors, smart in mathematical mechanics, I believe it said. He was all around a good kid. But he lived a life of isolation. He had his group of friends and said, but this kid didn't want nothing to do with social media, computers. Some of this, I tell you, and once again, I thank the person who sent this because a lot of this reminds me of my son. Although he ain't got the genius part in him, but the socialing, the shyness, there's always a piece of someone else in different parts of the world. And I'll tell you this, when I went to jail in 2002, there was a frickin' guy. I mean, you know, I wanted to tell him sometimes, shut up. Because every time he get around me, he's like, man, you remind me of my friend. You remind me of my friend. You guys are identical. I'd like to see you motherfuckers together. Oh, man, the party would be rocking with you two, right? So there's a lot of people out there that have genetics, the same symptoms as each other. And definitely, I believe his isolation on this kid is what led him just say one day, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. For whatever the reason may be, whatever the reason. I mean, this kid had $100 saved in his room, $200 in the bank. Yeah, this kid would have been going somewhere. But yet the mentality of this kid, as he packed up some of his clothes, packed up his gaming, you can tell he was behind in some things. And what really struck me odd on this story was when the father and mother told him that he should take a trip to London by himself to see his grandparents, 14 years old. These days, all right, like I said the other day, it's not like it used to be when you're 3, 5 years old wandering the streets. Oh, hell no. It's not like it used to be. I still got to do a little mapping on this, researching, but this case is very interesting. And because of the simple fact that what really caught my attention, right? The parents wanting him to go by himself. And when I read down, he enjoyed going to London, of course. Now, I don't know which one I want to do the mapping for, because it sounded like maybe the part of the UK that they lived in was kind of boring, maybe. London has more to do. That's right, because London's one of the main cities. So maybe, and living in the outskirts of big cities, and kids get a taste of that. Yeah, they always want to be there. I know I did. Before I learned what the concrete jungle was, and sometimes I want to get away from it because it just ain't what I imagined when I was a kid. But yeah, he really must have been, loving to be in London. Who knows if he asked his parents if they would move there. You know what I'm saying? But they probably didn't. Didn't seem, and all his family was there. Aunts, uncles. And then he enjoyed visiting them. So whatever the case may be, and if maybe the parents had a little bit into this of the boy snapping, because obviously they didn't want to go to London. Why would they keep his kid there if all the other family members are out in London? I mean, don't get me wrong, I got a lot of family members that live in New York. I like to visit them too. I'd like to go live in New York, mind you, where I used to live, because I felt at peace and at home at that place. Come to find out, my grandfather, great-grandfather, all born and raised out in that area. That's rightfully where my Native American blood comes in. Who knows about my great-great-grandfather? And that was definitely a place of the, Painted Post. And George Washington going in there and taking the natives' land. George Washington, that's right. If you don't know who that is, let me remind you, the first president. And that's why Painted Post is marked in history in Corning, New York, due to the fact of George Washington taking their land. But all in all, this kid must have felt at home in London, wanted to be in London, but the parents didn't want to go to London. Whatever the case may be. But then again, him leaving his home by himself, and for whatever reason, he wanted to get to London. And like I said, there's been, a lot of them cases that I've read into about missing persons out there. And what also reminds me of these two, of my son and this kid, vulnerability. Very vulnerable when taken in and spoken to about what sounds good. And I'm for sure this kid met up with someone that made something sound good. Maybe he wanted to live there, and someone said, hey, come with me. But, of course, them are the ones that are praying. Them are the ones that are hunting their next victim. And if he wanted to go to London that bad, and of course they said social media, he might have met up with somebody, but the kid didn't have nothing on social media. The kid didn't like it. And my son's like that with computers and stuff. I mean, he does get on his phone, but he limits himself, and sometimes he comes out with shit. Oh, I hate that, I hate this, I don't want to be on this no more. And it's like, damn, kid, what the fuck wrong with you? I'm sitting here trying to get a story out of him, but Whatever lays and lows and behold in these kids' minds of today. And, mind you, what I said in a previous video, and you can quote me on this and believe it or not, but my videos were stated before I looked up this story. This kid lacked street smarts. And that's the most important things, and that's what kids do not have today. Street smarts. Me, I got them all day. Sometimes I don't want them. Sometimes I don't want my life. Yeah, sometimes I want to be just dead. Because it's just pointless these days. And to see kids like this suffer and go through what they're going through in their vulnerability, that breaks me, man. I wish all kids could just listen and take the street smarts if the parents have them and abide by them rules, because you're never safe in this goddamn world. Nowhere. And all of a sudden, here's a perfect example. Another thing that I gotta roll in my head and step back and take a deep breath, because you can't trust not a lot of people. I can't say all people, but this is a perfect example, people. So in the past month, or the beginning of this month, neighbor next door wants to put up a fence. Another neighbor wanted to put up a fence. So we got 2 brand new fences coming in. And there's a lot of stuff in between that is in their way. I literally helped 2 people. All right? The fences. One of them, I took the old fence, I disposed of the whole thing. Put it up on Craigslist, got rid of it for free. 6 big sections. Most of the post. Then the next one had tree stumps all along the ridge where he wanted to put the fence. Helped him cut that out, dig that out. Hot, sweltering days. That's right. I would say if anybody was to charge these people of the work I've done, it would be an even grand between both. So I didn't have to do none of this. And you want to talk about backstabbers. People you can't trust. And I mean, this ain't just for like kids and adults, you know, for coming up missing. It comes around in all short shapes, forms, and sizes. And not only did I get rid of all this stuff, then I got friggin' Board of Health calling me. Because I'm doing illegal stuff in the yard. I got illegal stuff that's in there with one of them. Oh my God. I don't even want to speak no more about it. Bear with me. I gotta turn this light down. I'm blinding myself. But, all in all, they stabbed me in the back, got their help that they needed. Now they're doing all this shit. Board of Health and me. Gonna turn me in. Written a letter to the Board of Health. Handwritten anonymous letter. I'm doing all this stuff illegal. So I mean, these days, man, it's hard to trust. Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people. And a lot of them I trust. But them are the people I don't see, because they're the people that are normal and they have a life. These other people don't have lives. If they did, they wouldn't be sticking their nose in other people's business. And this poor kid, got hooked up, I think, with the wrong person. Vulnerableness. And because he traveled somewhere by himself, and that's another thing that the father said, that he didn't have them street smarts. He was vulnerable. He was an easy target. And man, does it remind me of what just happened to my son once again. I wonder if it's a sign that the people keep giving me these articles. And I look up stuff. And it's like, wow, I'm trying to, anxiety rips through the roof. You can't breathe. You get the anger. And you sit there and think about it. It's like, damn, what in the world are people doing today? It's sick. It's a sick friggin' world. And I'm sick of people's sick friggin' minds. I mean, I want to do a little more into this case, but once again, bad investigations. A secluded boy. And maybe he wanted to take that time with his parents to go to London. And all of a sudden, maybe his parents maybe stopped wanting to go. Because who tells their kid, you want to go to London yourself, by yourself? It's like, wow, man. And then the story goes on about he wants to visit family members. He loves going on trips with his family. And all of a sudden, they want to send him out by himself. And the kid's probably thinking, he's unwanted now. Oh, man, it's sad. But I'm going to do some more. I'm going to talking on this later. I want to do some mapping. And, damn. Oh, I did get a video from somebody that I got to check out on the Henry Bedard story. Sent me a live video, stuff in it. I haven't forgot about you, my brother. I'll get to that soon. I'm going to watch it tonight. But I'm also going to see what I can do to do some mapping on this story. Because this is one bizarre but sad. A kid's life just... Wow, I can't even speak for this poor kid. Let's take a moment of silence. Hopefully one day he's just taking a long trip. Maybe he made some money. Maybe he got a job, I don't know. But for that to happen to this kid and have to do that, and he must have been feeling very alone. And then got sucked into someone that said, hey man, I'll be your friend. And then he's gone. Sad stuff. Till that next video, be safe, take care, always beware. Stuff like this, man, you can't make up. Out.